Hey, thanks for joining me. My name's Quinn, and I've been starting to design a game I've been calling School Grounds. I haven't made any games yet, but I have been learning to code for technically the last 2 years, and I've been really wanting to try. As for things I can show you about the game, I don't have too much yet, other than the characters. Most of my ideas are currently written down, and that's why I'm calling this a Devlog 0. So enjoy the time lapse of me coloring the characters while I tell you what it's about. Let's get started. School Grounds is an action roguelike similar to something like Enter the Gungeon, but I'd say more dialogue similar to something like Hades. Roguelikes are one of my favorite genres of games, and while playing it out, it seemed to make a good starting point for my first game. I'm planning on having it be a 2D game with more pixel animation style similar to, other roguelikes. And with some of my prior knowledge of Unity and making VR chat models, I'm glad that I can use Unity to make a 2D game. So, I know what it is. Let's get to The lunch bell rings. All of their students gather their things and prepare to head to the cafeteria. Everyone gets there slowly, one by one, and after everyone is settled in and starts to eat, the lights shut off. The power slowly begins to turn on, but something feels different. The hallways, the classrooms, they've all been moved around, shifted. A group of friends decide it's best to send someone out to get used to the new school. But as soon as they step foot into the halls, the doors lock. As they are stuck wandering the halls, ghouls, ghosts, and demons all begin to attack. The student has only whatever they brought with them to defend themselves, which leads to their inevitable death. But they awake, back at the cafeteria, the moment they were chosen to roam the halls. It's a loop, and it doesn't end. The friends must now find how to stop it. But who are these? The main characters consist of 7 friends, who all have different stats and personalities. Each character also has an element that they'll acquire after recovering a trinket, specific to them, hidden somewhere in the school, but I'll get more into that and how elements work later. The game starts off with 4 characters, and then 3 must be found within the school. The first character is named Yuki. He keeps to himself, but spends most of his time reading. Yuki's element is ice, and he starts off with his book as his weapon. And his trinket is hidden somewhere within the library. Fudo is what I would describe as a pretty normal gamer, angry and passionate towards what he plays. Due to this, his element is fire, and his trinket can be found somewhere in the computer lab. He also uses his backpack as his weapon. Soma is a charm to talk to, always has something to say to kickstart a conversation. Normally the first to talk in any given scenario, and his element is wind. His trinket is found somewhere within a classroom, and he uses his lunch tray as his weapon. Hanako is quite the opposite of Soma. While he is center stage, Hanako watches from the side, avoiding any human interaction. Being quite timid, Hanako has the element of nature, and her trinket can be found in another classroom. Her weapon is the mechanical pencil she carries around. Noru is weird. She'll pop out when you least expect it, always ready to say something you would never think she would say. And you can never really truly know Noru. Her element is crystal, and her trinket is found on the floors of the halls. She carries a plastic fork from the cafeteria as her weapon. Hikari, chaotic and mischievous, built into a human form. If there is an opportunity to cause chaos, you know she will be there to cause it. Her element is surprisingly light, and her trinket is found in the bathroom. She uses her favorite pair of scissors as her weapon. Lastly, we have Yami, the one who will sometimes forget his own name. Oblivious to most signs of danger, only focusing on whatever is bouncing around in his mind at the time. His element is void, and his trinket can be found in his locker, whichever one that may be. He also didn't bring any weapons, so his pizza slice will have to do. Well, you know the characters. Let's get right into the next segment. As you know, roguelikes are games where after you die, you simply restart from the beginning. There will be items and such as normal roguelikes, but differing from normal and what I think will make runs more interesting is the incorporation of elements. As stated previously, each character after collecting their trinket will gain a permanent element. Well, each item also has an element attached to it, and after picking up your first item, the element and the item will combine to create one of 28 different elements, each of which are being displayed on the spreadsheet right now. These elements have both a passive ability to them and an active ability to be used while fighting. Each base element provides a fairly simple use. Ice is for slowing, fire is for damage over time, nature is for healing, wind is for range, crystal is for area effect, light is for increased movement, and then void is for moving the enemy. For most of the mix elements, it will just take both of the effects of the smaller elements and then take them together, except for some of the more special ones such as lightning or death or water. All the element combinations and effects are subject to change, so if you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching. I do have plenty more to share, but I'll leave that for another day. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask me in the comments. And hey, if you're interested, make sure you stick around for whenever I feel like releasing the next devlog. Enjoy the rest of the speed paint, and I'll see you next time.